Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. Are you good? You doing well? It's a gray, misty Thursday morning for sure. I'm a long run today. I did 8 miles. It was fine, y'all. I like this kind of weather, honestly. I don't mind sweating and heat. I don't want it to get any colder. But mornings like this are good for running. It's had a great run. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope you've already read ahead. We're doing Psalms right now. I'm Tim Harris. It's Tim with Tim. Did I say that? Did I say I love you guys? Did I say all my usual stuff? Uh, Tim with Tim, we go verse by verse through the Word of God. Right now, we're in the book of Psalms. We're just going verse by verse, and we're in Psalm 80 and Psalm 81 today. And I love them. I really do. They're just some really sweet moments in these Psalms. Let's look at them together. Psalm 80 is the first one we're reading today. It is, I guess you call it a communal lament. You know, it's a complaint, it's a prayer that comes from a place of pain and suffering. We don't know exactly what has happened in the land of Israel, but this is the kind of prayer, a liturgy, something that could bring, to worship at a time when they feel like they have been let down, attacked, otherwise opposed, and they wonder where God is. It's interesting that these kind of prayers, they never really question why it's happening because they always seem to know, that what they're experiencing is a consequence of their own rebellion. The question is, how long will God punish? How long will God seem to not respond to their prayers? We know that He always listens. We know that God never leaves us or abandons us, but truly there are consequences for our actions. And sometimes we want to, turn back time and erase the consequences of what our actions are brought upon us. And this is one of those psalms you pray when you have the full brunt of what you've done has come back on you, and now you're just wondering, how long will God seem to be angry? It's really amazing. I love the refrain. If a psalm is like a song, then some of the psalms have a chorus, and the chorus here, the refrain, is verse 3, verse 7, and verse 19. Most likely, you're supposed to see three sections in this psalm, and each section ends with that refrain. Turn us again to yourself, O God. Make your face shine down on us. Only then will we be saved. That refrain is repeated 3 times. Did you notice that? I like that language of turn us again to yourself, oh God. It's not that turn back to us, God. Like God hasn't turned away. We've turned away. And so the question is, what's it going to take? How long will it take for us to turn ourselves around back toward you? Do you see that? It's a subtle but very important distinction. God has never turned away from us. We have turned away from God. So God, turn us again to yourself. Make your face shine down upon us. That's reminiscent of the old Aaron's blessing, right? Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face to shine down upon you. It's a reference to God's glory, the blazing glory, the shining, the Shekinah glory, the visible manifestation of His spiritual, eternal glory. So it's the idea that His shining, beautiful face, shining down upon us is the only hope of our salvation. I love that. I love that. Both of these Psalms, Psalm 80 and 81, for me, I just notice how they make references to the God who feeds us, the God who provides, but the God who feeds us. Remember, in the wilderness, God fed them with manna from heaven, with literally bread from heaven, but then also water from the rock. God feeds and waters his children as a shepherd. Notice in verse 1 of Psalm 80, God is referenced as a shepherd. God is the one who leads and feeds His people like a shepherd. But notice in verse 5, you have fed us with not manna, not bread from heaven. You've fed us with sorrow, and you have given us buckets full of tears to drink. So here there's that irony, that tragic twist where we're being fed sorrow and tears from God. I think that's really interesting. We become a joke to our neighbors. Our enemies treat us with scorn. And then verse 7, again, back to the refrain, turn us again to yourself, O God, make your face shine down upon us. Now, this last section, verses 8 to 18 or so, verses 8 to 19, it's like a parable. truly, sometimes it's called, the scholars will call it the parable of the vineyard. It's a parable of a vineyard where God's people are compared to this vine that God Himself tends and trains and mines up until the point where the walls are broken down, the fruit is stolen, and the wild boars come in to devour. It's just this irony of this vine that belongs to God, and we know that God always cares for what belongs to Him. So how long? How long? Finally, verse 14, come back, God, come back. We beg you, come back. Take care of your grapevine. Come back to us. You planted, this grapevine. You planted, so come back and strengthen. We are chopped up and burned by our enemies. May they perish at the sight of your frown. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Then we will never abandon you again. Revive us once more so that we can call in your name. And then the refrain, verse 19, turn us again to yourself, O God. Make your face shine down upon us. Only then will we be saved. That's Psalm 80. I love that. I just really do. Psalm 81, in the same way, speaks of God as the God who feeds us, the God who nourishes us. But Psalm 81 has a very different kind of feeling here. Psalm 81 has this sort of haunting sub-theme or this message that is basically that God's desire to bless you is far beyond your desire to receive those blessings. It's the saddest, strangest thing that God has so much more. I mean, we act like God is stingy with His blessings, like He doesn't give us everything that we need. But truly, Psalm 81 reveals that it's the opposite. God has so much more to give you, so many more blessings that you've never even imagined and you've never received. So God's desire to bless us, His capacity for blessing far surpasses your desire to be blessed. And that's the strangest thing. Who doesn't want to be blessed? But apparently you and me, I love verse 10. It says, open your mouth wide and I will fill it with good things. That's a very interesting sort of image, way of speaking of the feeding, the act of feeding. Because in this case, it's like an infant or a baby bird, just you ever, like you walk past a nest of baby birds and they're just all like their mouths fly open because they are completely dependent. They have no ability to get out of that nest and go down and find some food. All they can do is wait for the mama bird to come, and they open their mouths wide and she just drops the food in. I mean, they're completely dependent. An infant is the same way. Infant, you just, that bottle, that nipple gets anywhere close to that baby's mouth and that baby knows how to latch on, mouth opens and it becomes this eating machine, totally dependent upon the one who feeds. And so it's this picture, open your mouth wide and I will fill it with good things. Oh my goodness. Reminds me when Jesus says, you being evil, if your children, ask for a fish, you're going to pop a snake in their mouth, No, I'm going to fill your mouth with good things. That verse 16, the final verse is just in some ways so sweetly sad to me. I would feed you with the finest of wheat. I would satisfy you with honey from the rock. That's so beautiful to me. But it's also so sad, because this is just the Lord saying, I just want to care. I just want to take care of you, and not in a meager way. We once had some friends that went through a hard time. And so I cooked supper for them. I made barbecue ribs. I made peas from the garden. I had macaroni and cheese. Casey made like an apple crisp in a cast iron skillet. It was so good. We did that out of love. We just wanted to feed them. But they came to our house and they would not eat. They would not eat. I don't remember if they'd already eaten or they just didn't eat. But I just remember, and again, it's not that I wasn't angry at them. I cooked out of love and I got to eat a pretty good meal out of it. But you know what I mean? It's just that I wanted to feed them so bad. If you're a cook, you know this. You cook supper and you just kind of wait, for everybody to take the first bite. You just want to see them eat and be satisfied. And this is God at the end of verse 16. It just says, man, I would have fed you a feast like you can't even imagine, but you just won't open your mouth, and let me feed you, let me fill it, There is a satisfaction and a nourishment in life that you do not know because you simply will not open your mouth before the Lord. You know, open your mouth wide and let him fill it with good things. That's Psalm 81, Lord. I love that so much. I just love that. Two more for tomorrow. Psalm 82 and Psalm 83, okay, for tomorrow. Psalm 82, Psalm 83. Again, these aren't long. These are good Psalms, right? We're still in the Psalms of Asaph, the Asaphat Psalms. So anyway, two more for tomorrow, 82 and 83. Have a great Thursday. I will see you in the morning, Lord willing, 10 o'clock.